Hello and welcome everybody to 2008. Welcome to the financial crisis. Let me summarize. Banks went out around the world and were like, are you not going to pay your third mortgage? Here, have a whole bunch of our money. Do you want $1 bazillion? Have a bazinga dollars. There you go. Burn it. Burn it to the ground. And then these large financial institutions were like on the verge of collapse. Some did collapse. It was pretty scary, unlike 2022 where we kind of have, oh no, some inflation, but large financial institutions aren't belly up failing. Other things happened in 2008. Hollywood decides to come out with some movies. They made some movies, depending on who you talk to, right? So what crowds do you run with? Some will be like, yeah, Pineapple Express, baby. Best movie ever. Other people love Cloverfield. Cloverfield, it looks like college kids made this on their own. Almost. The special effects were obviously done by college kids because kind of a little sketchy. And then there's Wanted. Angelina Jolie. That's all the special effects a movie needs, right? Had some really interesting stuff. I mean, even Mythbusters tried to curve bullets. It was pretty fun in 2008 with Wanted. But that's the market, right? That Mizuno has released this. You know, Tiger Woods won the U.S. Open with a bad knee and with Nike golf clubs against all odds. Won the U.S. Open in 2008. So there's a chance, you're saying there's a chance with the Mizuno Dual Muscle MP52. Let's get this on the review table and have a closer look. Pretty easy to identify the Mizuno branding here by the sole on the aft portion of the club. You can see Dual Muscle MP52 here at the more of the top line toe side of the cavity. The cavity kind of has a muscle back, and you obviously have these two slots. Obviously, it looks like the change holder in your car, right? Quarters are a little loose in there. You can get almost 3/4 in there. Yeah, they're too loose though. I mean, it just doesn't really fit. You need something more like, I don't know, your ball marker. There you go. That fits in there. It's just, once you put it in your bag, it's just, who thought of that? Either way, easy to recognize the dual cavity there. You can see the toe profile really biases the sole. Nice thin top line. On the sole, we have the Mizuno bird, plus the iron number, in this case, obviously 6 iron. Heel profile, again, you can see the sole bias in the weighting there. Grain flow forged. Is that going to focus for us? The grain flow forged on the hosel right here. Really shiny chrome all the way around, except for the muscle has more of this painted satin finish. Face, no nonsense. You know, chrome framing this nice groove pattern right here. Kind of what you would expect from a Mizuno iron. Top line looks like a Mizuno blade. I mean, it's beautiful. I really like the look of this iron. And you really, on a 6, you really can't see that lower portion. So we have a plain black ferrule here. This is a 15. You'll see why that's there in a second. We have a tapered shaft, true temper, you can see right here. True temper dynamic gold. And this is the stand, you can see this is a 15 fitting club right here, 2008, with obviously the fitting grip. You can see the Mizuno. We always joke, it's like, this is the length of clubs in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. Now they're just like super long. That's how they get their distance. So it's hard to compare clubs from different decades sometimes. It's a beautiful, beautiful Mizuno club. Let's get this out on the range and see what I can do with it. On the range, this feels really good. It feels like a Mizuno forged iron. The golf implement, yes, good, great. Now, I come from a background of engineers. You guys know me and my family. And I see through some of the claims here. Dual cavity. Guess what? From an engineering and physics standpoint, you can accomplish the exact same thing with a single cavity. Fraudulent ideas. Why are you adding extra complexity? It's like they took physics and just wrapped it in a whole bunch of elastic bands and threw it out the window, right? Like the movie Wanted, right? Just, we're gonna curve bullets. Yep, yes. And let's talk about Wanted for a second. Wanted, my opinion is that it's about culture in the United States, how we're just force-fed all this stuff. You want this kind of a job. You want to get an education so you can get this kind of job and you can date this kind of person and you can be friends with this kind of guy. And then I love how they just wrapped that all up and it was just like, oh, I don't want any of that. I'm going to do my own thing, right? And so with these ideas, corporate America, I say no. No, corporate America, I do not like. Now, the reason why, it's very shallow. It just is. I feel like some of their previous models and some of their later models were just more beautiful. If you're going to make up a story like dual cavities, we added complexity and removed simplicity, then I want it to be beautiful or striking. This, no pun intended. This is just, to me, my opinion, just kind of blah. And to that I say no. If I'm going to play Mizuno iron, I want it to be beautiful. Am I alone in that thought? Maybe the rest of the world thinks this is the best iron ever. But it came out in the Great Recession, so I'm not sure if it was the most economically successful. Let us know. Let us have it in the comments below. As usual, huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I offer general support, which means I post a few behind the scenes pictures and updates throughout the month. You can also support this channel by visiting my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. I'm losing my voice. Thank you for watching. I am the Vintage Golfer.